to refute that. So for a few days there, the blogs really had control of the story, and it could have really caused chaos. And it showed that, you know, the bloggers were much faster, much more effective at spreading information than this kind of unwieldy bureaucratic authority. They are much more difficult to control, not just in Egypt, but authorities find it much harder to control than newspapers or broadcasters, because bloggers are not centralized. You can write under pseudonyms. You know, there are ways around government restrictions. I mean, Tunisia, for instance, had an even worse press freedom record than Egypt. And it cracked down even harder when the revolution started. But we were still getting news out. We were still getting images. We were still in the know. You are seeing a battle between governments and the people that governments are losing.
I think, sorry, just to add to that, I think that's absolutely true. And I think that the bloggers have actually managed to have a resonance with the day-to-day problems in Egypt. So it's no longer simply about saying bad things about the president or saying that he's dead. They've actually begun to use this ability to be fast, to be anonymous, in order to address problems that perhaps, because of their, you know, class situation, are not affecting them personally, but are extremely important for the people living around them.
So do you think we're witnessing really the Twitter revolution in Egypt currently?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is, I think this revolution has taken hold in countries where there is the most restrictions on freedom of expression. So people have to use these mediums to speak out because they're unable to speak out in other forums.
Rami, would you agree with that? Are we witnessing kind of the Facebook, Twitter revolution right now?
Well, I would hold judgment on whether what we're seeing in Egypt right now is a Twitter revolution. I think definitely young people online were the tinder, if you like, to set this off. But I think what's happening now is far larger and has to do with a broader social and economic context. And so I don't think that without the mass of Egyptians suffering so much and becoming quite well versed in how to undertake direct action, I don't think this would have happened. So, in fact, bloggers themselves are far from taking the credit for what is going on. They're quite clearly saying this is a mass movement. They're an important part of that mass movement. But this revolution is not about them. It's about the Egyptian people.
I mean, we've seen sort of, people's uprising in Tunisia, and we've seen now people's movement in Egypt and demonstrations in Jordan, in Yemen. Do you think that social networking and blogging has played a role in tying these movements across the regions?
I think so. I mean, it's not just connected people within those countries who are demonstrating, but you know, between those countries, so that they feel that they're part of not just a national movement, but a regional movement. And I think this is galvanizing people across those countries to act in solidarity with each other. And you have this. I mean, there's really a feeling of pan-Arabism right now when you look at these social sites and what's going on the ground that I haven't seen in a long time. Tunisia really was an inspiration that for a region that people have been so used to assuming that the Arab world is just immune to change and development and human rights and democracy and all these things. And all of a sudden, almost out of the blue, this has struck a chord. And you know, as you can see now, it's spreading throughout the region because people see that if they act, a difference can be made.
I agree, and I would say it goes beyond connecting people within the region. They're connecting us to the region. You know, we are glued to Twitter and Facebook and the TV and every form of communication. So I would say, yes, it connects people, but it doesn't simply connect people on, you know, let's say on the basis of ideology or language. I think it resonates to a larger global consciousness which is interested in what's happening in other parts of the world and feels that it's relevant to their own lives. So yes, I would say social networking is definitely important.
Sharif and Rami, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll definitely keep a very close eye on how events unfold in that region. But thank you. And thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you join us again next time here on Witness.